Hello and welcome back to another LOSV. Thank you for joining me today. It's your Real Housewife YouTuber of Orlando. So today's video is about my experience of being a first-time homeowner in Florida, specifically outside of the Orlando area. I'm about 20 minutes from Disney World, so I want to give you guys my experience as I am learning just about basic home ownership, especially in Florida. I know it's different in other states, but Florida has a lot of things that are very different. So I just want to give you guys my experience with some of the things that we are going through and what we are learning now. We closed March the 31st of 2021. March the 31st of 2022, it will be a year since closing. We moved in April 1st, so April 1st will be our year of actually living inside of this house. So we're almost there. It is the end of February. As you guys know, today is February the 18th. So let's go ahead and dive right into these into this video. I have a couple of things that I want to touch on that, you know, I really didn't think about going into becoming a homeowner. I really didn't talk about it. It wasn't talked about to me. And especially if you come from you know, if you come from a background that you're not used to having a lot of homeowners in your family, or you might have people that own homes in your family, but you know, they might own homes in different states, and you know, nobody ever sat down into you and broke down what really owning a home is really truly about. It's a lot that goes into it. You know, initially I thought that, oh, you know, people always say like, own a home, you'll pay less in your mortgage than you will pay in rent. But sometimes that's not always the case. Sometimes you might get a home and you're paying way more in a mortgage than you will be paying in rent. It really truly depends. So the first thing I want to go over with you guys is CDD fees and HOA fees. So I have it pulled up so I can read from Google what CDD fees are and what HOA fees are. So when we moved into this community, it was brand new built. That's something else that you guys need to take into consideration when moving into Florida. Is so many brand new built communities. And if you are one of the first couple of 100 people that's moving into these communities, because they built thousands of houses. So if you are one of the first couple of, like the first phase or the second phase that moves in, or even the third phase, it might be like 7 phases. So if you like in that first, second, or third phase, your HOA fees are going to be low starting off, and your CDD fees are going to be low. And then that next year around, they hit you and everything goes up. You know, when we moved in, the HOA fees was like $13 a month, and it went up. Okay, it went up. And it didn't go up too much, but it went up. And I cannot tell you the exact number right now because I can't think about it. I can't think of what it was, but I know we paid our HOA fees up for the year in like that first week of the year. So, you know, HOA fees is due every year. Once we paid them once when we actually sat down in closing. It was all included in the closing costs. And then coming up the following year in January, we had to pay, you know, the HOAs for the rest of the year. Some places break it up into monthly, quarterly, you know, however you can afford payments, depending on how much they are. And the CDD fees usually come out of your mortgage payments. From my understanding, they are coming out of ours. So a CDD fee, it says if you are considering buying a new home in Florida, you may have heard a reference to CDD fees, and you may be wondering what a CDD fee is. CDD fees are a way to offset the cost of community amenities and infrastructure development or improvements required when building new communities. That's still a lot to process. And then I'm gonna go down to what is the difference between a CDD and a HOA. In communities that have both HOAs and CDD fees, an HOA is accountable for enforcing the deed restrictions and overall neighborhood conditions, while the CDD handles the general maintenance and will pay off communities' amenities and infrastructure. I want to be clear as well. All communities do not have both. A lot of communities are starting to have both. especially when you get into those really luxury resort style communities. You will run into both the CDD and HOA, but if you are, sometimes you can just find a neighborhood with a CDD fee. The majority of the neighborhoods that's not really resort living, just more so neighborhoody. They might have a community pool and that's it, no fancy, you know, amenities. So you might just run into HOA fees. But if it's a resort, what I'm finding is 9 times out of 10, if it's like a resort style living community, it's going to have CDD fees. And it seems like that's all they're building out here. They're building communities, you know, normal communities, but the majority is like really resort style living. So I wanted to get that out the way first because the CDD fees went up super high for us this year, and it's ridiculous because, you know, we have somewhat of a resort style, but it's not really the top of the line resort like I have seen other neighborhoods. And I feel like we are paying a little much for what we're getting. I feel like we can be getting way more, you know, and a lot of my neighbors feel the same way too. But what you gonna do about it? Like, you know, if we ask for more amenities, then they're gonna want more money. But it's like we already giving you enough. But you know, that's just the thing. That's just my opinion. The next thing I want to get into about what I learned about home ownership is sometimes new construction comes with higher taxes. Building on land that has never been built on, sometimes they want to charge you higher property tax. So that's something to look out for as well. Sometimes it can't, like if you are looking to buy a brand new built home, sometimes you can't avoid high taxes. They're not like extremely high, but you know, some areas might be higher than most. You know, you just have to really do your research on that. And getting into the next thing is a homestead. I had no idea what a homestead was. Let me see if I could Google it so I can actually give you guys the definition of a Florida homestead. What is a Florida homestead? Because I never heard about this until I got to Florida. And a homestead, all I heard was when you buy a house, apply for a homestead or apply to get a homestead exemption. I didn't even know it was exemption. All I heard was make sure you get a homestead when you buy a house. I didn't know exactly what that meant, and you know, I just heard of it. But let me tell y'all, in the process of us buying a house, I heard about it in the beginning, but it took a while. Like we was going through the process and I literally forgot. I asked my realtor about it and she was like, oh yeah, make sure you apply for a homestead. But it was like truly in the beginning of our search. So it went in one ear and out the other because it didn't stick to me. So let me tell y'all the definition that I see on Google, and I will definitely, you know, show you guys the link and everything like that and where you can find it at. So it says the Florida Constitution defines homestead as real property to the extent of no more than 1/2 of an acre of contiguous land in a municipality, owned by a natural person, and the improvements on it. The owner must have made or intend to make the real property his or her permanent residence or that of his family. So that is the definition of the homestead. Now, what you must do is file a homestead exemption. So a homestead exemption. So my short definition of a homestead exemption of what I found out is it will basically lower your property tax. So if you file the homestead exemption, I'm sorry, I cannot speak, then it will lower your property tax. That is what I got out of it. So the key to doing this is, as soon as you buy a house, you have to file so that the following year the exemption will take place, and then that following year after you file, your property tax will be lowered. Now, where we went wrong at is we did not file the exemption. Let me read the definition. The homestead exemption In the state of Florida, a $25,000 exemption is applied to the first $50,000 of your property's assessed value. If your property is your permanent residence and you own the property on January 1st of the tax year, the exemption applies to all taxes, including school district taxes. That's the definition I see. So basically, just the short term of how I understand it is, we filed, and then after you file, the following year is supposed to reduce your property taxes. Now, the key is to file when you first move in. That first day that you get the keys to your place, you are supposed to file. We didn't file the first day because no one told us. No one told us anything about it. Like I said, I found out about it online somewhere. I mentioned it to my realtor in the first week of us looking for a place. And she's like, oh yeah, you don't have to worry about that till da-da-da-da. And then we forgot about it because, we were talking about everything else. It was just such a big, long, tedious, crazy process. And she never brought it back up, even though she knew we had concerns about how much our mortgage payment would be, how much property taxes would be. She never brought it back up. And then when we actually moved in the house, she didn't contact us for 2 months after we moved in. So it was just weird. But I actually didn't find out about doing it until I talked to my new realtor, Renee. And y'all know Renee. If y'all been watching, y'all kind of see Renee here and there, once in a blue moon, periodically. But Renee mentioned something about it to me, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I remember talking about that, and I didn't do it. So to make a long story short, we moved in April 1st. We didn't file our extension until November. So all of that time, we could have filed it April 1st, and this upcoming April, our mortgage payment would get lower because of the fact that we filed it. So now we got to wait until November, which, it's cool, but it's it's just a whole mess. But, be sure, if you look into a homestead, if you are buying a house in Florida, and make sure that, you talk to your realtor about it, ask them how to do it. It's a website, it's a government website you go to, you put in your information. It's so easy, it's not even hard. I thought it would be something crazy hard, I don't know what I'm doing, but it was really easy. You put your information in, you click submit, and that's it. And it's literally putting your name, address, maybe birth date, phone number in, claiming what your property is, and it's really easy. So I will highly suggest people, if you are moving, look into a Florida homestead. Hopefully you have a good realtor that will tell you about that, and make sure you go through the process of actually getting it done. So moving along to the next thing is what I learned being a first-time homeowner. Like I said, when you are renting, people be like, oh, you can get a mortgage, it'll be cheaper than your rent, and you won't have to worry about a lot. But truthfully, when you are renting a home, you don't have to worry about a lot of things because you have a landlord. But when you buying a home, you are now the landlord. So anything that this house needs, you are responsible for this house, pest control, line. When Corey and I, rented before we bought, we never had to worry about pest control, lawn care. If something break, a toilet get clogged up, or the sink is messed up, or it's just stuff we did not think about, and it was we didn't have to worry about it because call a landlord. If something wrong, call a landlord. If something happened, call a landlord. So now it's everything is on you. So it's pest control we have to pay for monthly. Lawn care service. There's a lot of lawn care services out here, and they all have membership services where they come out, some come out every week, some come out every 2 weeks, some come out, however you want them to come out. But it's so many people that want you to get a membership for lawn care out here. And You know, that's a big thing out here, just lawn care service. So, you know, we were paying for lawn care, we're paying for pest control, and it's a lot of other things that, you know, goes into like just maintaining your home that if you were renting, you just would not think about ever doing, because, you know, a landlord would come and take care of their property 9 times out of 10 if it's a good landlord. So yeah, that's another thing, you know, just a learning. Like, we knew we was gonna have to take care of it, but it's like actually doing it, you know, talking about it is one thing, but when you actually doing it, it's like, wow, this is a lot. Moving on to the next thing is, if you want to make any improvements to your home, like for instance, adding on to your home, having a fence, for instance. Okay, let me tell y'all about my whole fence debacle. Yes, we have a fence debacle. Y'all know I did a video. I will try to link my video of us getting our fence installed, so y'all can go back and look when we got our fence installed. So we have this huge fence. We have a huge yard. And another thing I want to say, one time somebody in my comments said that, you know, why you want to live in Florida, you don't get a yard, you don't get space. Like, everybody in my neighborhood, we have yards over here. Like, I have a huge yard. I will show y'all some clips of my backyard, and my side yard, because I'm actually on a corner lot. So my yard is huge. And I just wanted to point that out. So I have a huge yard, I have a huge fence. And one thing we did not know is we needed a permit. Now, mind you, the fence company knows these things, right? But when you are getting any kind of work done to your house, please, you guys, please, I know this is common sense, to do your research and to get reviews of the companies that you are using. Now, listen. We did not do research on this company. We did not get reviews. We got one review, and that was our neighbors down the street. The fence people in our water system, we got purified water system, or what is it? A water system throughout our whole house that purifies the water, and we have the osmosis water, which is like pure H2O. So we the company came to our house, because we get a lot of solicitors. That's my next topic. But the company came to our house and they was like, oh yeah, we did your neighbors, we did this person, we did that person. And they was like, you know, we have reviews from your neighbors if y'all want to talk to them. And you can see their fences and you can ask them about their water system. So we like, okay, that's cool. So actually the guy that was like trying to sell us the fence and water system, he called the neighbors. That's how we ended up getting cool with our neighbors, because he called them and he was like, hey, I have a customer here that, you know, is on the fence about getting a fence basically, and they want to hear some reviews about the fence and the water system. So they got on the phone and they raved about it. We absolutely love it. We love the water system. It makes your skin feel all nice and smooth. It was just a lot. So they loved their fence, everything. So that's the only review we took. We was like, okay, cool, boom, we'll do it, because it's like we wanted to do it anyway. So when we heard how happy they was about the situation, we was like, okay, let's do it. You know, I don't have any issues with our water system, but the fence, I don't have any issues with the fence, but it's the fence company that is causing issues. So let's make a long story short. When we decided to get the fence, we had to go through HOA to get approved for the fence. So we, you know, contacted HOA, did what we had to do to get approved. HOA and the fence company got together and did whatever they had to do. So with that being said, everything was in the fence company hands at this point. Once we did, that was our only job that we knew we had to do. So we did what we had to do. Now, last month, I want to say, no, not last month. In December, we get a letter from the city that we live in. We get a letter from the city stating that our fence was improperly installed without a permit, and if we do not get a permit, that we will be sued, taken to court, and the city will remove our fence and we will have to pay for it. Do y'all hear what I just said? Let me repeat that. The city sent us a letter in December out of nowhere and said, hey, you owe us a permit. You did not get a permit on your fence. It was properly installed, and we're going to sue you and take you to court if you don't handle the situation. And we're going to take your fence from you. We like, what the heck is going on here? So I was furious, like, what the heck? So instantly, I'm calling my neighbors to see if they, the ones that got the same company. I'm like, is y'all getting this information too? They got the same letter. So, our next step is to call the fence company. We called the fence company like, hey, what's going on? And, it was just a lot of back and forth. So, like I said, we have been dealing with this since December. It is now the middle of February. And to make a long story short, the fence company was supposed to get a permit. They did not get the permit, and they did not pay for the permit. So, basically, they applied for the permit but did not pay for the permit. The city contacted us and like, hey, is a permit that's supposed to be paid for. If y'all don't pay for this stuff, we're taking you to court. So it was a lot. So basically, it has been a lot of going back and forth with the fence company and the city. I have been literally every week making sure the fence company is doing what they're supposed to do and getting everything they need to get to the city. Now we're at the point where the fence company have to move the front of our fence back, I don't know, a couple of inches or a foot or something like that. It's just really petty. I feel like the city is being petty with the fence company, and it's like it's like don't nobody give a F about us. It's like a lot of pettiness between the fence company and the city. They're going back and forth. The fence company is not doing what the city is doing, or what the city want them to do. Then the city is claiming that it's just a lot of back and forth with them. So it's like I'm trying to be the mediator. Like I feel like I'm doing so much. And it's like I have to do this because if I don't intervene, then it falls on us and then we're like screwed. So I am like constantly on the phone with the fence company, constantly calling the city, trying to make sure that as soon as I call the fence company, I instantly call the city. Like, well, the fence company just said this. Is this true? Do you have this information? Then the fence company tell me something. I mean, the city will tell me something, and I go right back to the fence company and said, they said this, they need this, you need to get this to them. It's just been like crazy dealing with this. So hopefully, I feel like I just talked to them the other day. Hopefully we got everything resolved. They're supposed to come back and move the front of the fence back a little bit. My next step is to call the city back. I haven't been able to get in touch with nobody in the city, especially it's President's Day weekend, so I think they're off anyway. So I'll be calling them fresh on Tuesday to make sure that the information that the fence company gave me matches what they have. It's just been a lot, y'all. So one thing to take away from this is to make sure you guys make sure whatever you're doing to your house, make sure if there's a permit needed, make sure that the permit is got and paid for. Make sure, make sure you know who is the person to pay for the permit. Is the permit included in the work that is being done, or is the permit a separate payment? Because at first they was going to try to say we had to pay for the permit. I'm like, I never even knew a permit was needed. So how you going to tell me I have to pay for something if you never even told me about it? So then they're going to say, oh, well, since we didn't tell you about it, we're paying for it. No, you're supposed to pay for it, period. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, do your research. And when I did look on Google, I looked the company up on Google, and I looked at the reviews on there, and it was the same thing people were saying what I'm going through right now. And I was like, oh my God, if only I looked, when these people came to my door, if only I looked and seen what the people were saying, I wouldn't have went with them. I would have chose somebody else. But they gave us this amazing deal, y'all. It was just this amazing deal, but I see why now. So that is my learning experience from that. Any work being done on your home, make sure, be like, do I need a permit? I need to know, and I need to know who's paying for this permit. Is it included in the services, or is it a separate payment? Make sure you know off top. Make sure you know how much the permit costs, because it can get expensive. Thankfully, ours is not too bad. If I was to have to pay for it, I would pay for it. You know what I'm saying? But it's not too bad to the point where it's like, oh my God, this is, you know. So that is another topic I wanted to talk on. And we also want to get an enclosure built on the back of our house. We definitely know that will take a permit. We're definitely going to do our research. It's a lot of houses that have gotten enclosures around our neighborhood. So we are definitely going to walk around and ask our neighbors. Like, I'm not really going to walk around, I'm lying. I'm going to go to our Facebook group and ask in our Facebook group what is the companies that was used for everybody's enclosure, and ask them if they were willing to share with us, you know, who did their enclosures and everything like that. So that's what I will be doing. But yeah, we know that an enclosure is definitely going to have to come with a permit. We don't know how much that permit will cost, but once we get into that phase of looking to get that done, of course y'all will be there for the whole process, and I can't wait to do that. So yeah, moving right along moving right along, we are going to get into soliciting. Moving into this new neighborhood, it was so many solicitors. It was crazy. And a lot of my neighbors have no soliciting signs. Some people do not look at that. They don't care. You know, I literally had to put a note on my door and said, if you are a solar company, do not knock or ring my doorbell, because I do not want solar panels. Period. Like, I literally put a note on my door that said that, because these people will literally come to your house every other day. If they see that you don't have solar panels, they will come to your house every other day and knock on your door and ask you about solar panels. I just don't want solar panels. I think it's cool. My take on solar panels, y'all. So I know it's a big thing down here in Florida. We in the Sunshine State. You think having solar is going to lower your bill. All of that. I have been doing my research, and I have been talking to other people that actually have solar or know a lot about solar, and it just don't make sense, because of the fact that you are purchasing 20, 30, I would say 30, 40, 30, in between $30,000 and $60,000 worth of solar panels. That's a bill. Because you ain't about to put down cash for solar panels. You're not about to say, boom, I have $30,000 for solar panels. You're not. So it's a bill. It's a loan, you know. So people are paying, you know, you putting down this loan to get these solar panels. And it's supposed to make your energy bill lower. So first of all, it don't happen right away. It can take in between 3 to 6 months for them to fully do everything they need to do for that to reflect on your bill. My neighbors, I have 2 neighbors that I actually know that have them. And my neighbor, she got hers done like sometime last year. She just got her first bill where I think her Duke Energy bill was $20. I'm like, that's cool and all that your Duke Energy bill went down to $20. But you still have a payment for the solar panel. So it's like, does that even it out? Like, it's like, if you are trying to reduce your bills, okay, why would you add another bill on top of a bill that you're trying to reduce? Because now you're not reducing anything. Yeah, the Duke Energy portion went down to $20, but you still got this $200 or $100 or however much money a month that you got to spend on solar panels. So make that make sense to me. How is that saving you anything? I mean, yeah, it's helping the environment by, you know, using the sun's energy, but at the same time, you're still coming out of pocket. You're not saving any money. You know what I'm saying? And that's the point of getting solar panels, is to save money on your bill. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to take you 30 years to actually have no energy bill. Okay, y'all, so my battery completely died. I'm so sorry, but what I was saying is make it make sense. You know, that don't make sense to me. I don't want solar, and a lot of these companies are scammers. They will, you know, try to take you up top, and you really have to do your research. Another thing about solicitors, when we moved in, we got so, I mean, it's like these people it seemed like they camp out somewhere and they watch you and they see when you're moving in, and then they're instantly at your house every day. We had house cleaners, we had fence people, water systems, we had anything to do with a house, lawn care services, like anything that have to do with a house that you wouldn't even think about was at our door asking us if we need all these services. I'm like, Lord Jesus, how can people afford all this stuff? I mean, goodness, it was a lot. And so, like I said, a lot of people have the no soliciting signs, but from my own eyes, you guys, the no soliciting signs is not working, because my neighbor right next door to me has a no soliciting sign, and those people will leave my house and walk right to his house, knock on that door and ask this man if he wants solar. Every single time. So that is something to look out for. Like, just be aware of soliciting for services. Don't instantly get nothing on the spot, because every single time you do that, I'm telling you, it might be a scam. It might be a company that's janky. You just never know. And the next thing I want to talk about, because my battery is about to die, y'all. I'm trying to do this before my battery dies. But house settling. If you get a brand new house built, it's a thing called your house has to settle. And it may take a while for your house to settle. So when your house is settling, you will start seeing, like, not cracks, not necessarily cracks. Sometimes you do see cracks. We have not seen any cracks so far, but we have seen where the baseboard and the floor, where they once met, and like you see the caulking, it's kind of coming up a little bit. So I did tell y'all a while ago that I bought like some caulking and silicone, so I can kind of put it in there and smooth that out. But your house settles if you get a brand new built house, and it kind of moves, you know what I'm saying? So it's not a big thing. It's not like, oh my God, my house is moving, but your house has to settle. And we didn't, I think I heard of that before, but it just really didn't click to me, because I didn't have a house that needed to settle, but now I do, so I know about it. But yes, your house has to settle, and you'll see some kind of like spacing in between some of the baseboards and the flooring, where you might have to go in and use some caulking and just smooth it back over and make it, you know, one again. But I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here, because my battery is about to die, and I appreciate all of you guys for watching. And like I told y'all before, I will definitely continue to take you guys along on my journey of just living in Florida in general. That's why I'm the Real Housewife YouTuber of Orlando, because I am just telling y'all how I am living, like how I'm, you know, going through my day-to-day. I'm just giving it to y'all straight, raw facts, and what I am dealing with, my opinions, my experiences. I can't speak for nobody but me and my family. So I hope you guys enjoy these videos, and I love to put them out, because I love to give out this information, because maybe I can help the next person, because like I said, no one helped us. Like, I looked on YouTube for videos like this, and that's why I'm making videos like this, because I feel like it just wasn't enough out there. So I will see you guys in the next video. And if you are not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button so you can become a part of the LOSB fam, and you can hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time I put out a video. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, y'all.